All right, lads, listen up. The next movie night. Get out your beers, get out your wine, because this next movie is awesome. Gran Torino, starring Clint Eastwood. Clint mother effing Cleesewood. Did I just say Cleesewood? Anyway, Eastwood. Lose my mind. So, guys, stop scrolling. Stop dating. Stop meal prepping your bowls. Listen. Because, my friends, you're about to witness a brutally honest, deeply human, side-splittingly, awesomely, hilariously funny, unexpectedly beautiful movie that's come on screen. Clint Eastwood, yeah, Dirty Harry himself, growling like a pit bull on whiskey, holding a cold beer in one and America's soul in the other. And what does he do? He makes you laugh your ass off. He makes you cry like a little baby. And he somehow makes casual racism a teaching moment. Yeah, we'll get to that, don't worry. And this is a film every man, every woman, nun, gym bro, grieving son, a Gen Z TikTok creator needs to see. Gran Torino is a life lesson wrapped in a .45 caliber stare and a rusty old car. Okay, so what's the conflict? Simple. I mean, I'm even laughing already. I'm not even talking about it yet. A racist old war vet, Clint Eastwood, once doesn't want to befriend his neighbor. Okay, let's just draw the line in the sand here. He doesn't want anything to do with him at the start of the movie. But life always, it's got other plans. And Walt that's Clint Eastwood plays. And he's the kind of man who grunts more than he speaks. His own kids don't get him. His own kids are like turned off by him, you know? Like his grandkids are glued to iPhones. His priest wants to check in on his soul. And Walt would rather swallow glass than talk feeling. I mean, this guy, real tough-skinned, hard, old-fashioned dude here, like. Then you've got Tao. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Tao, a quiet, awkward teenager next door who, let's be real, doesn't exactly scream heroic arc here when you first meet the guy, okay? And you'll see exactly what I mean. But here's the magic. These two become friends, man. And I'm almost starting to go. It's beautiful. And I'm not talking some cheesy, I teach you karate, you teach me TikTok crap. I'm talking real friendship, earned friendship. The kind of that shows up when no one else does. And, you know, Walt calls him every name under the sun. Right? I mean, it's not okay. Like, it's so wrong on so many levels. But it's also not the point. Because Clint Eastwood doesn't coddle. He doesn't sanitize life. He shows you ugliness and redemption side by side, and it's so powerful, man. Now, let's give you a bit of background here. Clint Eastwood, the man is a legend and Hollywood icon. He directed and starred in this movie at the age of 78. 78? Directed as well? Where does the man get the energy from? I mean, well, most actors that age, they're doing life insurance commercials. Eastwood's out here giving us a masterclass in character building. And Walt, he's a Korean War vet. And he's living in a changing neighborhood he doesn't quite understand. And doesn't want to either. You know, his wife just died. His family are vultures. And the only thing he truly loves is his 1972 Gran Torino car. And sitting in his garage like a shrine to its past. Now, this isn't just a car movie, lads, okay? It's nothing to do with cars or anything, okay? This is about two guys that deeply connect. And it's wonderful. It is. And this is a story about the kind of men who used to build things with their hands, steel, families, discipline, and who now feel like the world's left them behind. The genius of Gran Torino is how it slowly reveals the cracks in Walt's armor. You know, it's the tough guy, but you can see the vulnerability coming out of him. And, you know, and it's raw, it's intense, it's wonderful, it's fascinating. Maybe that's the right word here. It's fascinating to see this tough guy hold it together as much as he can, but he's cracking. And, you know, and we begin to see it. He's not just angry, he's lonely, and beneath that scowl, there's a man who's still capable of change. And that's where Tao and his family come in, they don't just annoy Walt into redemption. They bloody earn it. Okay, now we're cooking. Now, Tao, after a gang initiation gone wrong. Now, I'm trying to be careful on the footage I show you, lads, here, okay? Today, I know I try and be focused on what I do show you, but today I'm going to just... you'll see what I mean when you see the movie, or if you want to see it again. And a gang initiation gone wrong ends up on Walt's radar. Now, instead of calling the cops, Walt pulls out his own brand of justice with a snarl and a shotgun. Classic. But then something happens. Walt doesn't just defend the kid, he guides him. And he mentors him. He teaches him how to walk, how to talk to girls, how to be a man, not in a toxic alpha podcast way, but in a real way. You know, there's a scene where he walks into a hardware store, teaches him how to shake hands, how to look somebody in the eye. And, you know, I mean, it's hilarious, lads. And Walt's like a foul-mouthed Jedi master here, you know. And this is where the film blossoms. Their relationship becomes this weirdly wholesome bromance. Part grumpy granddad, part Yoda, part emotionally unavailable dad, and part streetwise coach. And through it all, Eastwood somehow makes it funny, not preachy, if you get me. And because Clint, he never tells you what to feel. The guy shows you in his actions. And that's the genius about Clint Eastwood, man, and his direction and his screenplays. You know, he lets Walt be abrasive, offensive, wrong, but never fake. And Tao's family, you know, they're not props. They're real, layered, warm. His bond with Sue, that's the older sister. It's just chef's kiss, man. Their banter's fast. Their connection is deep. You feel it when he starts calling her Dragon Lady with affection instead of disclaim. I mean, you begin to realize Walt's not just changing because someone told him to. He's changing because love crept in despite him. Now, here comes the hammer. We're not going to give anything away in this movie, okay? Tao gets dragged deeper into gang violence, right? And Walt knows he can't just patch this up with a stern talk and a baseball bat. This is where Gran Torino stops being just good and becomes brilliant. I mean, it steps on the gas, man. It cranks up levels, multi-levels here. You think Clint's going to go Dirty Harry, full Dirty Harry, you know, kick the door down, light him up, cue the American flag, but no. Walt does something at the end. Like I said, we're not going to give anything away here. Walt does something at the end of this movie that, let me tell you, you could cry easily. You'll cry like your dad just hugged you for the first time in 20 years, maybe. It's not heroic. It's poetic. And, you know, if you've seen this movie and you're going to watch it again, you probably know what I mean. You know, it's a man who did the right thing. And really, lads, you know, this movie, it kind of shows you that legacy isn't about bloodlines. It's about connection. It's about who you lifted up when no one's watching. This is a film about the power of earned respect, unspoken love, and the ways men learn to heal when we drop the tough guy act and actually listen. You know, it's a laugh out loud. I mean, it's hilarious how wrong Clint Eastwood is in this movie. You know, it's laugh out loud. Clint Eastwood muttering, or granting his way into your heart. It's gruff. It's real. It's glorious. And, you know, if you haven't watched Gran Torino, guys, this is definitely this week's pick. You have to watch this movie. You know, yeah, Clint Eastwood, 78 years of age. And honestly, I think this is his best performance. Gran Torino. All right, we're keeping movie night going, lads. Here's the next movie on the list. Get the Kleenex out. Oh dear Lord, this is a tearjerker. $1 Million Baby. It's some hell of a movie. It's a slow, soul-breaking, quietly devastating, absolutely beautiful punch to the effing heart. And I'll tell you right now, lads, if this movie doesn't hit you somewhere deep inside, for both men and women, then either you're made of titanium or you've been emotionally constipated since birth. And if it's Clint Eastwood at the peak of his directorial power. The guy won the Oscar for this. Hilary Swank won the Oscar for this, delivering the performance of her lifetime and one of the greatest performances of all time. I mean, you can't deny this. And Morgan Freeman, he won the Oscar for this, sitting in the background like the calm, poetic ghost of everyone you've ever loved and lost. I mean, it's not even a boxing movie. It's about belief, persistence, never giving up, sacrifice, and about the kind of love that doesn't shout. It suffers silently right there beside you. Okay, now let's get into it. Now, Frankie Dunne, he's not a hero. He's a crusty, battle-hardened boxing trainer. This is Clint Eastwood, who reads Yeats at night and prays every day to a God he no longer believes is listening. Then walks in Maggie, Hilary Swank, poor underdog, waitress, full of hunger, full of nothing, no trainer, no future, no chance at this stage, and she begs him to take her on. She begs. Frankie's like, nope, not having this, repeatedly, firmly, like an Irish Catholic no that echoes across a decade here. But Maggie is the walking embodiment of grit, lads. And she keeps showing up, punching, bleeding, smiling. She doesn't have fancy technique or perfect footwork. What she has is something far more terrifying. Relentless will, lads. Relentless. And that's what breaks Frankie down. Not pity, not potential, but the quiet, haunting realization that this woman, this girl, this nobody is everything he once was and everything he lost. Clint Eastwood, oh man, I mean, come on. This guy he doesn't just direct movies. He builds emotional time bombs that tick away under your skin for hours, days, weeks after. $1 Million Baby, it's built on silence. It's a slow burn. And it's not loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It just exists quietly, cracking your ribs open one scene at a time. I mean, the gym, the hit pit, it's its own character. It's got sweat-stained ropes, busted bulbs, lights, and Morgan Freeman in a cardigan narrating your descent into grief. Freeman, former fighter, now janitor, now sees what's happening between Frankie and Maggie before they even do. But here's what makes this movie so famous and genius. It tricks you. You think you're watching a boxing underdog movie. You think it's Rocky with estrogen, and then suddenly you realize you're not watching a fight, man. You're watching two people wounded, weary, and utterly alone, trying to find meaning in each other. And they find each other. Oh, I'm start to tear up again. So, okay, Frankie, he finally gives in. He trains Maggie, and my God, does she rise. Fights go by like it's the war songs. She hits, bleeds, she smiles, cuts, she wins. And every single one, knockouts, left hooks, broken noses, boom, 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 and you feel it. You really do feel it. You start to believe, hey, maybe this ends well. This is about triumph after all. And, Frankie becomes the father figure, not in just a hallmark way. He cares for her in the places no one ever did. He fixes her robe, he guards the body, he writes her name into the world with his bare hands, and then Maggie becomes the daughter he never had, and she fills the spaces his own child won't even return his letters from. I'm starting to tear up. They don't say, I love you. They didn't need to. And it's in every stitch of every glove, every stare, every unspoken word. But it's too good. You feel the cold creeping in, because this film doesn't lie. This film doesn't wait. It kills. Then it happens. We're not going to give anything away here, folks. Of course we won't. But what I will say is it changes the movie. It changes the movie. And, it's not about winning. It's about love two people that found each other, connecting, it's like a dance. It's like a song. It's poetry in motion, man. It really is. The story, it's not about a fighter. It's not about a coach. It's not about a fighter and coach, but it's about love, pure, broken, unforgiving love. And $1 Million Baby doesn't tie a bow around death. It doesn't try and fix you, to feel alive. It just holds up a mirror and says, this is life. It's brutal, can be beautiful, and sometimes unbearable. But through it all, there's dignity, there's grace, there's a kind of quiet loyalty that doesn't shout from the rooftops. It just stays beside you until the end. You'll cry, you'll laugh, you should. And when you do, don't fight it, let it happen. And because what this film does, it lets you feel, man. In a world that can numb us, $1 Million Baby, it reminds us we're all alive. So guys, let's pack it up now. But I know I always try to have, fun movies, but we got to throw in a couple of sob ones too. You got to throw in a couple of sob ones. And, look guys, 2005 winner, best movie, $1 Million Baby. Hilary Swank, an unbelievable performance. I mean, honest to God, it is unreal. She won the Oscar as well. Morgan Freeman, unbelievable. His one and only time Oscar. The guy should have about 5, but this is his only win so far. And Clint Eastwood, well, he won the Oscar for directing. Well, that's no surprise. This guy's one of the greatest directors of all time. $1 Million Baby. Get the Kleenex. Get the glass of wine, get the pint of beer, and buckle in. All right, next on movie night, here is a classic, ladies and gentlemen, for all the females, for all the males out there. Now let's get this out of the way. You are not safe. Not in the pool, not in the bath, not even in your bed, because once you watch Jaws, that shark lives inside your mind. I mean, it just lives, it just breathes inside. This isn't just a normal movie. This was iconic back in the day, and it still is. This is a cultural trauma we all signed up for, and I promise you, every man, woman, and a child needs to watch it at least once. Yeah, I'd even give the children this, right? Because we watched it as children, and you just had to watch it, even if you think it's too old, even if you're a Gen Zer and you've only watched stuff on 2 times speed, even if you think sharks are kind of cute, but of some TikTok trend, right? Jaws will humble you. Steven Spielberg's Jaws isn't fast-paced. It doesn't throw gore at you every 5 seconds, and that's the beauty of it, because it's the subtlety. What if? The dark behind the scenes, and that just creeps you out, man. What it does is haunt you slowly, patiently. It makes your skin crawl without even showing the damn shark half the time. And that's the genius. This isn't just a shark movie, lads. It's a masterclass in suspense, a monster movie without the monster, a buddy film with teeth, and home to some of the most badass monologues in movie history that still live to this day. Now let's talk about the central fear of Jaws. It's not about shark eating people, okay? It's about the unknown. I mean, we just pressed on it already, but it's about there's something lurking just beneath the surface. You ever, when you're a kid and you think there's something in the closet, right? That's the part that gets you because you don't know what's in there and your imagination goes mental. It's all, the shark is always out of view. It always getting closer, and not just the ocean. That's life, right? It's death. It's human fragility. And this movie opens with an incredibly unforgettable scene, all right? This doesn't ruin anything, okay? It's a gut-wrenching scene. A girl goes swimming and no music, just water, and then suddenly, gone. Dragged, drowned, done. And the town? They try to keep the beach open. That's the real conflict here. It's not shark versus human. It's truth versus denial, delusion, money versus morality. And this happens in everyday life, let's be honest. And it's a young sheriff versus the town council's desire to keep the tourist dollars flowing here. And Chief Brody knows what's happening here. And he smells the blood in the water, but nobody wants to listen. Classic, right? Who's been in this situation a billion times in their life? And that tension between survival and stupidity is what gives Jaws its real teeth. I mean, you're almost shouting at the camera, at the guy who wants to keep the place open. He is in such denial, it infuriates you. Now, let's back this up. Spielberg, it's 1975, the guy's 27. Okay, I mean, we're going back to 1975 here. He's 27. Again, this is just, he's not even at his peak yet. But this, wow, masterpiece. And he drops a cinematic nuke. There was a guy apparently in a cinema who watched this and he started puking up. He had to leave the cinema. Spielberg was watching people as this goes because they had an opening weekend and they wanted to watch the reaction, right? That's what they do with a lot of movies. They'll do like not the opening weekend, like a test screening. And they'll bring in people, right, like a focus group. They'll have the people in. Spielberg sat there in the audience himself. We don't know if everybody knew that or not, but he did. And then he saw a guy get up out of his chair, go over, puke up, and come back to his seat. And he went, "It's a hit! It's a hit!" I mean, imagine that. You go puking up, but you have to go back for more. This is what we're dealing with here. And Jaws, it was probably the first summer blockbuster before it even had a name. I mean, I really do think it was probably the one. Maybe you can argue me on that one, maybe Star Wars, right? You know, something like that. But this is before Star Wars, okay? And so, really, it's before Marvel, before franchises and billion-dollar openings. There was Jaws. And lines wrapped up around theaters. People passed out in screenings and getting sick, you know, like we're talking about. You could not escape it. And the shark was broken. The mechanical shark, nicknamed Bruce, it barely worked. And Spielberg, in a moment of absolute genius, decided to show less because he knew that, okay, this shark's not working, man. But he knew, oh, hang on a second. So maybe you could say he accidentally stumbled upon it, but no. Because if he didn't get it, he would have tried to get that shark working. He just realized, whoa, hang on a sec. And he used music instead of showing the shark. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure, I've no doubt that even if you have never seen Jaws, that you know that music. You've got to know that music, right? Would you even call it music? It's a score, right? It's just unbelievable. That iconic John Williams score became the heartbeat of terror, and it really kind of is still this day. He let the water itself become the monster, and that, folks, lads, is what makes the movie timeless, because your imagination is always more terrifying than reality. This is also a film built on character. It's not just about the shark, it's about the three men who go to kill the thing. Now let's get to the meat. We've got Chief Brody, okay, Roy Scheider, the main character. Now, city cop, out of his elements, and afraid of the water, just added another twist, huh? Trying to protect a town that doesn't want protecting. Then you've got Quinn, Robert Shaw. Whoa, the grizzled shark hunter with enough salt in his veins to spice up the Atlantic here. I mean, he's intense, scary, hilarious, and somehow poetic. And by God, his monologue, well, let's come back to that. And Hooper, Richard Dreyfuss, brilliant. The nerdy, I think it's called oceanographer. Forgive me, I don't know the exact name. With brains, he's got wit, and a bit of a rich kid chip on his shoulder. And these three men, they're trapped on a boat together. We're not giving anything away here. Are at the heart of the movie. And the boat, the orca, it's practically a coffin with a steering wheel. The tension is insane. The shark gets closer, the boat gets a little smaller, and the men get more desperate. Then the monologue, the Indianapolis speech. Ladies and gentlemen, this monologue was delivered by Robert Shaw back in the 70s. And if this was made in 2025, it would still be a bone-chilling, brilliant monologue delivered. This is timeless. Quinn tells the story of surviving a real-life shark attack after delivering the Hiroshima bomb. And my God, it is. It's quiet. It's eerie, haunting. It stops you cold. It's no longer just a scary movie. It's a glimpse into madness, and then the shark attacks. But even just back to the monologue, there's one line that I'll never forget. Shaw literally says at one stage in his monologue, "I'll never put on a life jacket again." And you're thinking, what the hell? It just clicks into place. Now, you want action? You get it in this movie. Now, and I'm not saying just for the lads here. Honestly, I think women would love this. It's one of those, you know, the way women love the creepy horror story. It has a bit of that feel, you know? And honestly, I think, you know, you're not going to be going, "Oh, this is a lads movie." If you think I'm wrong, drop it into the comments and tell me I'm wrong. But I honestly think women and men would enjoy this because you got a slow-paced movie as well. And, you know, we won't give anything away here at the end. It's brilliant. And at the same time, there's one line at the end where the main character says, "Smile, you son of a bitch." It's brilliant. Okay? I'm not trying to give away anything. And it's not a big heroic moment. It's desperate, quiet, terrifying. It's a man doing what he has to survive. And that's what makes it real. So let's wrap this up, right? So guys, Jaws, it's not about fear. It's about control. It's about human arrogance. We build beaches, boats, rules, and then the nature comes along and reminds us we're not in charge. And this movie stays with you, I think, really. It gets in your dreams. It's always stayed with me. It changes how you swim, how you hear silence, how you look at the sea. And here's my final message to you. Watch the movie, whether you're 17 or 70, whether you're Gen Z or a boomer, whether you think it's too slow, too old, too simple. Because Jaws isn't just a movie. It's a rite of passage, man. It's fear, wonder. It's Spielberg introducing himself with a roar from the deep. Watch it, feel it, never forget it. I don't think you will. And the next time you hear something beneath the surface, remember, you saw the fin.
Peter.
Wow.